Welcome back. Wow, that's a jarring cut straight from like the Buffy music to straight to us. But welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, from the mandatory GG, the Ignition series. It is time for map 3. G2 currently leading 2 maps to 0. We kind of feared for this one, Lauren, but we are going to Bind, and it's not a map that they did well on yesterday.
Yeah, it doesn't bode well. I think if it was gonna go further, the first 2 were the real points to do it, right? I think everyone looking at it went, okay, hey, Haven, that's a good starting marker. Damn, we're back. Bing, bing, bing. Yeah, Haven was the good starting marker. I'm not exactly hyped up right now.
I need hair. I need like hair.
I'll volumize if I need. Yeah, damn. Yeah, Haven was the big one. It was a good game. Ascent, there was a chance, but it did dwindle. And Bind, I just don't feel is a good one on this. I'm trying to think back to the vetoes. Did we see that G2 vetoed Bind a fair amount, if I'm not mistaken, every now and then? Like, it wasn't an insta pick for them, but they don't have a bad map.
Not really. I mean, it's hard to say they've been pushed on many maps, to be fair. I think this is probably the furthest we've seen them push for a while. Yes, obviously in the WePlay they dropped a few maps or two, so they, maybe you could argue they went a bit further there. But I think Bonk have put a good showing on for them. The reason, if you're wondering, guys, if you're not sure, like yesterday they lost 13-4 to NIP. Bonk did on Bind, which is why we're a little concerned, and the fact that they only have 2 recorded official matches from the big tournaments so far on this map. So we're kind of concerned. Hopefully they've done a lot of work overnight. We don't really know, but in terms of the pressure, G2 meanwhile themselves are 5-2 on Bind themselves in officials.
It's not their best. It's definitely not a bad result. Most teams would probably have that as their best result, but they have literally undefeated maps thus far. So it's still a very strong affair for them. NIP was one of those losses, but beyond that, I mean, as said, they've rarely been truly pushed on this, so we'll see if it does translate. There's a chance. There's always a chance, but Bonk does need to kind of somehow forget the last 2 maps, stay incredibly focused, bring an incredible game here. There's a lot of win conditions against them now. A lot of it's piling up against them, so they've got to bring out the A game, and I don't know how much they've got left in the tank. This is going to be a very big proving point. So far, it's been a great finals. I'll take this. The 2 maps were good. They were competitive. The third is going to be a rough one, I feel.
And I think the stats kind of showed why G2 do so well as well. They are such a very well balanced team. If one person's having a bad day or a bad map, as the case is, then the rest are stacking up. But as you saw there by the stats, nobody was having a bad day. Nobody's having a bad game. And once again, they came up on top against a team like Bonk, who, the Swedes, they were doing very well. They were looking very good in the first half. Could have gone 6-6 easily at the first half. And then, but sadly, once they lost that pistol going into the attacking side, they lost the first pistol, and it kind of cost them. You kind of felt it's like it was just ebbing away from them then. And I think they lost around about 3 or 4 rounds on the bounce as well from that. They did start to grind their way back into it, but it was just too little too late.
Yeah, it is that though, and it often feels like that because G2 are just so able to capitalize on those kind of smaller moments and convert them into rounds more often than not. So it's like once we see a team that can push them on even those rounds, then we'll get the truly, potential upset on that in a best of 3. Keep in mind these guys haven't lost a single best of 3. I hate to keep hopping onto it, but that says a lot about the depth of their map pool, that they're able to kind of go to this. That yes, maybe this map specifically, Bind maybe isn't their best, maybe Split isn't their best, but normally in a best of 3, you're probably going to get, your Haven and Ascent in there somewhere, and they're incredibly strong on those. So it's very hard in a best of 3. A best of 5 does open up a window of chance, but it's become very slim here. So as said, Bonk definitely against the odds, but they've shown some real grit and determination. That first map was a huge kind of, eye-opening experience, I think, for some players who maybe haven't seen a team push G2 a little bit here. So again, for Bonk, this is a good look for them, and I want to see more from them.
Yeah, just a couple of little plays here and there. They were going toe for toe with them for a long time throughout it. Of course, going into Bind, it can be heavily based on the pistol. This was the choice of Bonk, which surprised us. It does mean that I assume G2 are going to be starting on the defense. We're just waiting for the agent picks to come through. Not expecting any changes from G2. I want to see really where Bonk are going with this one. Obviously, they've been flexing between the Jet and the Rays in there a couple of times and sort of adjusting what place they're going. So we'll see whether they change any of the the agent picks going into it. They've also had the Phoenix, obviously, and the Sage, but for Safe as well. So he's kind of flexing between the two.
Yeah, and speaking of Safe, I'd love to see more from this player as well going forward. I think he's definitely shown his individual potential and how that's kind of echoed into the success on Bonk. So love to see him having a big game here. Whichever agent he does tend to sit on, it does seem as though he likes to flex between a few, but definitely shown his potential as a player no matter what. So
I mean,
okay.
Is it going to be a long night? Is it? We're about to turn it around. All right, Yassine. All right. So
like
Yassine's feeling confident. It's going to be a long night. The reverse sweep is coming from Bonk. I'll be for it. I'll be all for it, and I'm sure HYPERX would be because he's not sure whether he's going to get another game yet. He's hoping that he's going to be available on Split, which would be the 4th map if we were to get there. And of course, the decider, I believe, was Ascent, if I'm not mistaken. So we'd be revisiting Ascent. Yeah, revisiting Ascent if we get to that 5th map. But there's a long way to go, and of course, Bind being a map that was a struggle for Bonk yesterday. I'm just wondering, that of the 2 games, of the 2 maps, 2 times they've played this, the other game was against the Party Parrots, and they did win it 13-4, which is not a bad result against the Party Parrots.
No,
but that was back at Vitality. So that was, maybe a month ago was Vitality? I feel like it was a month ago.
Okay, so a while back, I don't know if he was even the full same roster for Bonk. They might have had a player switch in that time. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure. I've not kept complete touch with
it was different. Yeah, Melonhead was in there.
Slightly different, right? Okay, so again, it's not a huge change, but the scene's changed, and G2 have gone stronger as of Bonk. So we'll see if it comes to it. What this looks like, I don't know. Again, this is the thing. As much as people love statistics, and we definitely discuss them a fair amount, it's a very small pool of information. We don't have, a 50 map career. We don't have, hundreds of results to go back onto. This is very much
historical data. Yeah,
exactly. It's very short term. So some of these results are a little bit skewed potentially. Maybe some of them come from a very easy group stage run. You take a pinch of salt with it. But when it comes against the big opponents, taking a map off someone like Party Parrots like that is a good indicator. So maybe this was, a bad map for them just in the moment. Maybe it wasn't a good map for Bonk when we saw them last, but this is a different opponent, so hopefully they put up a different look here.
I'm just looking at the agents that they played yesterday. So Yassine was back on the Raze, as we saw on Ascent. But Safe actually went on to the Breach. So that would mean he's played on the Phoenix, the Sage, and then the Breach, if he is to go for that. So 3 agents. This is unusual because obviously a lot of people do tend to stick to the same agents regardless. And obviously Sage certainly is viable if we were to go onto this map. And Ziz actually switched over from the Omen, switched onto the Brimstone, which is a big, strange one for me. Yeah, the Brim can help. Obviously, the orbital strike can be massive on the lamps or U-Haul, whichever you prefer to call it, catching people on there. It can basically clear out the entire thing and help for the retakes. But just, where do you stand with that? Obviously, with people basically sticking as an agent main or going as a support agent?
I like the flex picks. I actually really like Bonk's composition here, if I'm honest. I think this is something I was excited to see potentially. I like seeing I like the idea of utility. I'm always going to. I like the idea of flashes and smokes, background in utility-based games. I like it. So let's go into this one. G2 will be on the defense, and on the offense, it will be Bonk. And of course, Bonk are against the odds here. 0-2 down, but it's a best of 5. It's this map or it's bust.
That's the kindest way of saying it. Bonk gonna be on the push. Patitech starts things off. First blood goes G2's way. It's going to be the shock darts into the standard plant position. Yassine will get Mixwell down, though. Yassine, solid player for them so far, but Patitech, once again, immovable. Gets Bonk down, and that's the planter. Been removed, so Spike still sitting, waiting. Nice satchels over towards Artist, but it's not going to connect him, and that Owl drone is gathering information for them right now. Pit pushes round. That's going to be Yassine down, and I think this attack has gone dead.
It's fallen a little flat, hasn't it? They need someone to be the game changer here between these two, Breach and the Brim. Need to get a pick on some of these pretty tricky angles. I like the Sage playing safe there. Was going to try and go on the flank, but actually joining with the others to ensure that no one gets an easy way back in. Ziz, that's what they needed, though. That's one down. That's the site player removed. Don't know if they're going to expect the Sage so quickly to be there. No. And Patitech honestly being the swing point, the pivot point in that, holding showers so well, ensuring that no one could cleanly cross. Had to be careful of his back once that Sage peeled away. But his crossfire being held from that side ensured that no one could get to the spike. No one could try and, work around site a little. He was a real nuisance. I like the attempt, but Bonk, once that spike was lost, they lost all power to that hit.
This goes here.
Does look like it's going to be a stack from Bonk to pile on through, but it does look like they might be going into the grinder. Oh, this is going to be the man. Well, actually, if he peeks with bow in hand, may find himself in trouble, but instead he's just going to go for a quick recon, and that's going to net him all the information. It is going to be Pit pushing down long as they try and draw out. Mixwell's going to pick himself the orb up, and Aaron will indeed be taken down long, so they're all going to be stacking in window with the pistols. Teleport bait? No. They sent something through. What would they have sent through there?
Not too sure.
Doesn't matter either way. Bonk has been found out.
A little quick update. Hopefully we can fix up the sound for you guys. Apparently there's a bit of an issue on that, so we'll get that fixed up for you nice and quick. Mixwell going to be finding work here. And yeah, this hit kind of ran out of steam again. And this is something that I want to credit someone like Artist for. Obviously we look at him when we talk about frags, but the ability to buy time, gets the info, backs away, doesn't get caught up, doesn't overstay, doesn't overcommit, ensures that times, are being bought, that the rotations are coming in cleanly. Now, this is the fight back round, though, so they're going to have the 2 SMGs still in play. The Spectres there, one on Artist, one on Pit. The others, between a Phantom and a Vandal or 2, but the others will have full rifles. So this is the round that you want to see the fight back in for Bonk. This has to be it.
Take out Cypher's tools.
Well, the stack, the 4-man stack from G2, it does mean they're going to be aggressive on the showers, but you can see the camera was placed there immediately. That's nice work. Yassine will get picked off, though. That was on the B short play. Does mean that Ziz on the brim. Oh, he's just not looked away at the split second that David P went for the peak, and David's gone aggressive, and he's got to realize that the site is empty. And this is actually confusing, if anything, for Bonk. They've come into the site and they think they're out-droning it. They're wondering, where is everybody? Well, they've all gone aggressive. That's where they've gone. And the spike plant will come in, but I got a feeling the retake is going to be strong from G2 here.
How many times do you see Patitech do so well in these situations by being a nuisance player? It looks like they're going around the world. They've got a minute to play with, so they can really get into weird positions. Patitech knows what's up, but it's a little bit baffling. He is kind of stunned up and pinned in. They've given away a bit of the game here. I don't know how they're going to recover, because Jet's on the way around. That's Mixwell coming into the matter. And Mixwell can kind of keep them pinned in this.
Aaron needs to be big
here. It's a bit
here.
weird. Yeah, Aaron needs to bail him out of this, and they've got to go fast here. They're down to, like, what, 36 seconds now? And David P is uncontested, unfazed, and the late lurk is a little too late for me. Yep. Patitech can just hold this down.
Yeah, that round did not work. That just did not work. They were trying an individual play over here, a lurk over there. It just seemed a little splintered in what their approach actually was, whereas they'd gone for the 3-man push up long, and then they kind of spread out. Yes, they got the one down on window, but if he goes down, that 3-man split has gone dead, because it's not a 3-2, it's a 3-1-1, and it's just completely backfires on them. Yeah, I understand that you want to try and force the presence and try and keep people over on A site, which actually, would have been great. There was 4 people on A site. There was one man. David P was the only one on B site, and they couldn't get past him, which is rather worrying. And again, we're going to be seeing another eco bash here.
Yeah, Bonk could find Mixwell, but it's just playing in Patitech, if anything. If he holds his nerve, gives away the game. Could have depended on Pit there, try to play it out later, but he doesn't really need to. They're in no dangerous form. The Cypher could do some damage in a weird spot, but the spike's down, and they know now that, wait, Showers was open. But still, let's see what Aaron can do. Maybe a bit of damage, but damage isn't really enough at this point. No, Pit's not allowing it. G2 look in fine form, and they're aggressive. How many times have we now seen? We had David P pushing up towards B short then in the previous round to this. In this one, we had that aggression between Mixwell and Patitech towards that A short push. This is hard. This is
the one. This is the round. They've invested everything.
It's got to happen, right?
But look at the bank. Look at G2's bank. They got 7k already. 7.7k. They're going to be max money at the end of this round if they come out on top. Good lord.
I don't have all day.
And David P has been the immovable object. They need to get him down. This is a full 4-man stack all coming this way. That's going to be the slow, but he manages to get the satchel boost and sees David P. But David P got the information. He knows they're here, and they're going to force the rotates. Meanwhile, over in Bathroom, they are getting a little aggressive over that way. It is Aaron that's going to be the lurker that's trying to keep them occupied, but Mixwell already on the move. Pit's already come in. They're in position already. It's just too slow.
I've just got to say, look how much utility David P is drawing out of them with the slow, the wall. He's basically taken everything away from them. Now he's done for. He's dead in the water. Nice counter usage of the grenades coming in. Yassine making some real value for himself. And this might be in trouble here, but do they expect it? Do they expect the stack? There could still be danger of plenty. And yeah, AORUS is going to make some value out of this one. Finds Yassine. Should find that there's no one here, but it's down to Mixwell over towards A.
Yeah, the fact that the Lurk managed to get that one kill as Watts rotated and changed the position. But look at this, Mixwell's got himself into lamps. They're not going to be realizing that he is here. This should be a quick double for him. Gets the one. We'll get the surprise factor, but can't quite finish Ziz off. He was taken low. 25 health is all he has. And now Pit and AORUS. And well, we saw how strong both of these can be in these clutch moments in the retake situations. AORUS coming from behind, looking to catch him off. Pit gets into heaven at the perfect time. It finds Aaron with the wall bang through in Bathroom. Lamps is low. AORUS finds Bonk. And now it's Ziz. 25 health and a dream, trying to prevent the defuse. Gonna go in with the molly. Gets the rebound. That's a nice molly. It's gonna draw him off, but he's sticking it. He's sticking through the flames. Not gonna work out. You can't tank those flames, Pit. And it will be the first round for Bonk.
My God, did they need that? But I don't know what their money's like. They're, what, 1 survive? So even though they win the round, they're going to be in a really tricky spot. They can get a buy up, but it's going to be lacking. No full armor on a couple of players. You know, Yassine, I don't know what he's going to get. But that retake had a bit of room to it there. That was, what, 2v3, I think, at that point? But well handled at the end by Bonk. But still, I want to look at that early round. Yassine's early work there to open up B window was exceptional. So Yassine, incredible value, forcing David P away, who's been the game changer thus far.
Get out of my
Rounds live.
Where are we going? Ooh, Aaron's caught Mixwell off a gun. And that was with the Bladestorm rocking as well. Managed to get the other side of Patitech, but he will come out on top. So that was all over on the A site. Playing off that minimap, and now David P's got himself tucked in. He's got AORUS here. AORUS getting ready. That's going to be the ulti coming out from Bonk. Doesn't net himself anything. AORUS does find the one, but David P's been dealt with. That's going to be the showstopper. AORUS, you can't escape that one with just 10 health. And it will be taken down, but they haven't dealt with Patitech in elbow.
Oh no. Anything else? No. Bonk, nice trade. Really, really quick to the matter. And now Pit left in the 1v2. That wallbang was exemplary before. Nice game sense, but now he's got to get past 2. And they're going to have good post plants. Nicely handled by Safe. But I've got to say, Yassine has been a game changer for Bonk here. And look at the way they're approaching this map for the last couple of rounds. They're using window room like mid. So they'll put 3 players towards it for Bonk, and they'll hold the extremities. That's how they got that pick on Mixwell over by Shower. They've been playing 1 player by Long as well. This is a nice approach for Bonk.
Look at their buy, though.
Oh, it's absolutely garbage because they're not getting clean rounds, but you'll take it. You'll take anything you get here.
Bonk going as the support. He had the money to buy for himself. Instead, bought Phantom for his teammate and went with the Bulldog himself and the half armor. So Bonk being the ultimate support right now and doing what he can. It is going to be... Oh, this could work out. They're actually pushing into each other. That's going to be the stack, but they're going to be surprised by the man up close. Yes, they will, but Patitech will be taken down by Yassine. He's been exemplary so far, but is he going to be able to get out? The Hunter's Fury coming out from AORUS. Goes aggressive, peeks back into it. Aldrone will give the position away. They know he's there, and Yassine's going to back it up with the paint shells, but they've already gone. Meanwhile, again, the lurk from Aaron finds Mixwell.
Now, again, this is tempering the aggression that garners G2 so much early information normally. That means that they can get the correct rotations. It's a key factor in a really good defensive side. But when a team is using a great default against you, like Aaron, for example, catching those off-player positions, just, you know, making it costly. Now, Yassine's gone down, but it's all a bit of a ruse, because look at the rest of the attack inside. It's towards A, so Pit has to be worth his weight in gold here.
They don't realize it's coming until now, till the pressure on Pit. Pit, see what he can. Bonkar's just going to force his way through the cyber cage, and he's actually got behind him, but he's sitting in the sky smoke right now. Artist has found Aaron. That was the man that they needed, the pivotal position. They still yet to get the spike down as Ziz gets found out, and they're stuck in the corner. Bonkar can't get that spike down on position with Artist putting those shock bolts down. Still, no rotate coming from Pat. He's sticking on B site, still unsure because the spike hasn't gone down. Now they get the shot through. Now they realize it's coming, and it's a 2v1 retake for Pat.
Okay. Is he full HP? I think no. He's tagged down. He's half HP here. 45, no armor. They're doubled up towards U-Hall. A little bit of a late one on the side there to try and reveal. He's going to get the freebie on safe, but you don't expect the double stack, I feel. This is going to be something a little bit trickier. Nice readjust on the position, but now you're going to see the brilliance of that late radar coming in. It's going to reveal anyone on the spike. Not to be. Patitech now has all that utility to put into play, but he's not predicted it well enough. Bonkar on the around the world. The timing's perfect. Well played in the end. And let's talk about what's working well here for Bonk. A lot of people might be like, oh, they're hitting so late. They're down to one player. You think you're going to get clean site executions against G2? No. So let's look at what they're doing. They are getting so many of these first picks on the aggression from the defensive side. Now, if you're G2, of course, you love to do that because you get the freebie of knowing where to hit those rotations early, cheat that player over to the right site. Now you don't get that. They're going to have to play a little bit more blind, a little bit deeper on the site. So now Bonk, are you ready to handle that? Bit of a switch up in position. It looks like a heavier lean towards A, but we'll see if they're able to now deal with potentially G2 deeper on the sites.
It's going to be a the first time since the pistol that they've actually tried this full execute on A site, and they've quickened up the pace. There's going to be a nice flashpoint coming through. Forces Mixwell to just aim and spray and hope he can get something, and it works out for him in the end. Pit just tanks it through on the shock bolt. Sits and waits. Rolling Thunder's available, but they've had to step away from this one with Yassine, the point man, going down. The entry fragger picked off, and it's back to the lurk once again for Aaron, and hoping he can pick something up. They're
going to give him nothing. Artist there went for a bit of info, might have seen the cipher, not sure. But honestly, if you're G2, you should have the discipline to not push aggressively on this. You know better. That is exactly what a team with 4 players wants, is that kind of push for information. They're double stacking towards window, which I don't mind as long as there's an effective trade, and they still have the wall in play. Safe. They're going to hear that. They know this is now a little bit of a problem here, but there is still that lurk from the Cypher, so they can't rotate everyone. This is a nice approach from the attacking side, keeping everyone guessing. But G2 are being patient, and they have to be, because here comes the hit.
The Rolling Thunder, it caught David P, but nobody's checking the corner. They do eventually take him down, but Artist is still alive. Still down long. They've got to keep him at base. Safe saw him. Actually didn't go for the wallbang. Surprised me, but Mixwell comes behind, gets the one. And now Bonkar's in all sorts of trouble. Going to get split across, and in the end, Aaron comes to save the day. And the round goes to Bonk. And again, the problem is they are picking the rounds up. That is great. They're back to 4-4, but every single time they are losing people left and right, and their economy is still not stable. Look, if they were to drop a round, suddenly they find themselves on an eco.
It's never going to be easy. I think their approach is the only one that gets you these wins against someone like G2, though. I'm going to be honest here. I like their approach. They're taking their time. They're trying to, deal with that early aggression, and they've been able to punish a couple of times. Now they're doing a heavier lean, but that Cypher going back to the roaming, I like it. Hopefully they get there in time to catch the Omen, potentially, because it looks like they could be going walkabouts. But for now, a little bit of an early exchange. They've been trying to draw this utility away from the defensive team, so when they go on those late site hits, it's all going to be just straight one-to-one fights, ideally with the attacking side having more utility. And again, more information garnered. I'm pretty sure that Omen just got spotted by the cam, so even on these pistols, they've got to play this correctly. Still plenty of danger for G2 to find.
Look at Aaron as well on the minimap. The strong, deep lurk, expecting something to come. It's Pat that's lurking near him. And that's why they've yet to go aggressive on site. David P just tucked in, waiting for something to come. Not going to happen. They're going to back away from this one. And now suddenly Pat's lurk could work out for him as they push that way. Safe expecting some punishment. And he finds David P. Spike still down. And now Mixwell's going looking, but he's looking in straight down the barrel of an operator. Pat's going to find one. The lurk does pay off. He only netted him one, though. And now the rotator field will come towards A site, but Mixwell's going hunting.
I don't like it. He's got a rifle. He's got armor. I think the wire might give it away. Bonkar's got a good idea, and they're going to hear it soon enough. Surely safe. Checks on it, not well enough. There's down danger at first. Mixwell knows what's up. Pit's going to be on absolute red alert. They've seen it all. They know it all. But here comes the game plan. Let's see if they can play this back in. They've got to know where Mixwell is. Spike is down. Pit is isolated. But that Phantom in his hands is always going to pose a threat.
I love that play. Safe, not sticking with the operator, deciding, okay, too dangerous to rotate. There's someone on my back. And Mixwell in a 2v1 on the retake. Tailwind and updraft available, but pushing and dashing into lamps is not the right approach. And Yassine's playing the separate angle, going to draw out the showstopper. Just going to sit and delay, but instead Aaron will find him, and the round will go to Bonk. And for the first time here, they will take the lead on Bind, and they get more rounds than they have against the entire NIP game.
Now keep in mind though, this is a good run. The economy is still fragile. That was a pistol-ish round. It was a weird buy. It wasn't a great one. We had some sheriffs. We had the Phantom over with Mixwell, but still damage done aplenty, but well handled by Bonk. Again, you can't expect a team to win clean rounds against G2. You're never going to get it. But this is exactly what Bonk need, a strong half. You want to keep, you know, stringing together these rounds. Those opening few were off the back of obviously the pistol going G2's way. So now you see a bit of a switch up. Patitech over towards the window, sitting towards that. Double stack towards B long as well. So maybe a new look for the defensive side.
Seen desperate to find David P there. The Owl actually going down on B, and with the triple stack over that way, the A-side play may well benefit them if Mixwell rotates into this as well. They've been drawn so heavily into it. The camera will give the information away. The second Pit spots them. They haven't spotted it in bathroom. Two of them are past that camera. Three of them is going to give so much information. That camera tucked in the corner. It's just reading straight into it. Here comes the push. Yassine goes around the corner. He's going to be the entry once again, but David P's in position. And now a 3 defensive stack. The orbital strike goes down. It's going to be enough to hold them back, but they are locked currently in the bathroom. And Mixwell popping off with the blade storm finds himself one. The spike carrier Bonkar is tucked still in the corner, unable to access the A site, and they're all now rotated into this 4 on site. Still Ardis unsure on this one, and well, so are Bonk. The 34 seconds, it's looking like a rotate to B.
They need to hold. If Bonk are in this one, you got 30 seconds, you hold for a second, you cut noise, you try and create that little bit of a paranoia. They don't need to rotate. You got 3 and 2 on either side.
Here we go.
Mixwell popping the ult. Here it is. It's got to go now, and it's going to be quick, and it's got to be good. David P pulled off the angle for a second, but not for much. Wall goes up. Ziz comes in. David P goes down. But the 2 in U-Haul, they're the danger element here.
Got to deal with Pit. You cannot take this site without dealing with lamps. If you don't hold lamps, you're not going to be able to hold the site. They've got to deal with Mixwell, who just pops around the corner. Quick blade storm. Bonkar, the last man, tucked in corner. Nothing he can do. And the retake was as clean as you like from G2.
There was a little moment when Pit wasn't able to get the timing right with Mixwell, but you saw the backup instantly there. It was all coming together. Really well played on the retake. Those 3 players coming through. Perfect timing from them. And again, the money, a little rough. 3.8, 3.1, 2.7 for the attacking squad. Hopefully, they can fashion a good enough buy for themselves here, because keeping that op in play and the 2 rifles means they can spread the wealth for the defensive side and get rifles on everyone. And as you can see, an SMG, a Bulldog, unable to create that for the opposition on the attack, even though that was the first round they'd lost after 5 rounds back-to-back.
I'm going to be honest, I don't know how I feel about the operator being the breach, because the idea is you're flashing in for your teammates, and if your operator's being preoccupied, you're not getting flashes in, and you're kind of just basically spoiling the utility of that agent. But at the moment, it is going to once again going to be an A play. This time he's got himself the scope, looking towards Mixwell. Smokes are going to go down, try and draw some attention out. Mixwell's got himself tucked in U-Haul. With the cyber cage down, he sees Safe taking the shot, so he knows there's one around the corner. Patitech, oh, quick from the shadows, goes behind them, catches them off guard, catches Bonkar off, and that split this attack in half, and he's got the spike as well with Yassine trying to find him.
Yeah, honestly, this is again the brilliance of Patitech. He's got right behind enemy lines. He's cost them timing on the spike. It allows for the push up from Mixwell, and he doesn't need help. Don't make it easier. Patitech just did wonders there. Dropping the spike like that, getting away from the opposition, playing that annoying rotation lurk role has just cost them everything. Their economy is garbage now for Bonk, and this is, you know, not the way you want to end out the half. You really wanted to get a strong note. This is a good half from Bonk overall, considering the opponent, but you'd have loved that last round there, but not to be And this is why I love the role that Patty Tech plays. You know, this is the hard part for me when I'm considering who are the best omens. Patty Tech just plays it well, whichever agent you put him on. I think it's just stylistically he's very, very good, but he suits that omen to a T. But let's see what he does with making aggressive play here.
Going down, but Yasin's pushing through it. He has to. He's only got the Spectre, but he's going to be straight into Pat's eyesight. Crosshair placement being pivotal. David P goes for the boost, looking over the dark cover, but it doesn't matter. The damage is being done elsewhere. Ziz and Safe go down, and, well, it's being left to Bonk with the spike, trying to get in on sight, but unfortunately, Pat, once again, has rotated into the perfect position. Oh, he's spamming the corner, but doesn't quite... He knows it. He's already tagged it. He's saying somebody is here. Paranoid goes through, pushes it, but Bonk strikes at the right moment with a quick double on David P and Pat, and now it's a 2v2 out of nowhere.
Yeah, they're not sure about the site being clear. AORUS has occasionally leaned towards a B site, but for now, he's going to be lingering in the back lines with that op. He knows there's a couple of players around, so he's going to be keeping himself dedicated towards this one. Bonk and Co. are going to have to be super cautious. I don't know if they're going to be able to get rid of him before getting the spike down. That looks like they want to try and ensure that no one's close by, but I don't know if AORUS drops this.
Oh, he's got recon ball. He is tucked in the corner, but I think they're going to see his elbow, and they realize he's there. They should be able to get wallbang, and that takes it down to a 2v1 Mixwell with it all to do. Or will we be seeing a tied half? Spike still not down. 17 seconds. It's kind of working against them, and Mixwell just catches on the top of the cage trap. And now he can see the spray through. The one-way works in his favor, and Mixwell delivers. The captain pulls through for G2.
Mixwell, why are you so good? The hell? A 1v2 like that? You're like, nah, that's easy. That's Bonk's. Nah. Mixwell, not letting it happen. A really good half though from Bonk. Let's kind of roll it back again. They did some good impact. They went on a really good run on the gun rounds. God, I really hope they pick up a pistol here though, because G2, if G2 get the pistol, I think it's over. Maybe early to call it, but you just don't get that many rounds to play with. But we'll see what G2 look like on this attacking side. To me, they are just as deadly when they attack. They get more freedom to be aggressive and bring some of those individuals into their prime element.
A big pistol round for Bonk. Lose this, and they may be seeing their tournament slip out of their hands. Or will it be the turnaround? Yasin up close. Oh no, caught out. Had everything in him there. Bonk will get the Mixwell down though, and that's going to stop the attack for now. Pit though, on the lurk. Comes around the side out of bathrooms. Gets the 1 and the 2. And that is the site carved wide open.
You see a pistol god. He's rolling back the years. You love to see it. Now for Bonk. 2 players stand. Safe being one of them. They're biding their time on this spike plant. They're not going quick. They're trying to draw out the players. AORUS there. Trying to keep tabs on it. Another player, and they've got a good read on where Safe may be, and they're hitting the brakes here. They're seeing if they can get this one for free. They don't want to make any mistakes. And Safe gonna be the first one to cost that mistake. AORUS goes down, but it's certainly not game over yet. Oh my word, Safe. That is beautiful. Expecting a player close, no one's there yet. But we need the Cypher to get involved.
Get the fault line through on site. Actually going around the world here for Pit, so they're actually both going to be coming from short. David P lined up, 100% health, ready and waiting to go, and this is surely going to be the G2 round, but Safe has landed 2 belting shots already. He's going to see him first. David will land the shot, takes him down. It wasn't a clean, switches over to the shorty from range. I'm not convinced by that, but Pit is there for the backup. Does manage to force him down an hour, and now he's got 2 targets facing him, and it will be G2 that will take the pistol that got a lot closer than maybe it should have.
I mean, without Pit getting that double, that probably was Bonks, I feel. You know, that felt like it was going quite well for them. They'd taken the right sort of territory. But as said, when you've got so many good individuals on the G2 side that can deliver those moments, that's the brilliance you get with it. And now on the other side, it's a force in. They're going to do what they can with very little. Full armor, a couple of, you know, ghosts here and there, stingers coming out, the old Bucky too. It ain't pretty, but they've got to try and make it work.
Okay.
Seen Thrifties. We know they can do it. They forced what they can. Stingers doing the job. Fault line going to force them back, but now, unfortunately, Ziz is kind of stuck in there. Recon bot will come through. Aaron trying to go aggressive here. to basically help out Safe, who's stuck in the corner. Safe will get picked off in the end, executed down, but Yasin comes in. PattyTech gets the refrag. That was all down long, but Aaron has managed to get Pat down, and that's a lot of weapons already picked away from them. They kind of forced into this one. They had to. Their tournament is on the line. Ziz down. Bonk with the Bucky onto David P on site, and now it's a 2v2, but a really awkward one as Pitt goes around the back.
Yeah, not easy yet. Kind of split between each other. Pitt needs to bail out his buddy because he's kind of cut out from this, but the spike,
He's running into it, no clue.
Yeah, there it is. Lovely positioning. Now, they have lost track of Bonk, but a 1v2, they can get a nice position on the plant. Yeah, very well done there on the plant too. Going to plant it safely, as they are pretty aware of where that last player may be, or at least you know, they can hazard a guess. It may not be 100% accurate, but you want to get that safe plant. And they get it for Pitt too, so he can sit happily up in heaven. And you can imagine the cross should be held by AORUS. They're both going to kind of stack up towards Shower. So yeah, this is going to be very tricky for Bonk, but if he wants it, this is the challenge at hand.
They know exactly where he is. The second he fired the recon bolt across, it gave all the information Pitt needed, and he will take him down. Bonk trying to pull his team through here, but the rest are just not stacking up, and it's another force, obviously equalizing the money that he had with the Bucky, but it's going to take it to that dangerous 10th round, and they're running out of time here, Bonk on the defensive side.
It feels like they're running a little low on steam here. These forces will come and bite you on the butt soon enough. You're desperately trying to break the opponents. You know you've had a couple of close rounds. You're doing everything you can to try and stay relevant to the match, because as soon as double digits are against you, you know you're in trouble. But maybe with the right stack, with the right utility, with something working in their favor late game, they could pull something out of the bag here. But for now, G2 poised in the right place, potentially at the right time, and a quick hit to follow. The pressure coming in from Shower could be a big deciding factor, but 4 players here, Lee. This is a lot to come up against.
Pushing on through. Got to try and land something. Bonkar's the man up close. He's trying to hop, skip, and a jump. And they're actually got lamps. They've got around the back side. Sneaking around the back of lamps. Yasin does manage to make it work. And now we can see Aaron comes in. David P, though, quickly responds. And Ziz goes down, safe tucked in against the wall with a shorty. That's not the ideal range. And the spike actually been left. And David P choosing to go through teleport. Knew he was pincered. He's trying to go around the world here. And it leaves Aaron left all alone, with the spike now in the hands of Mixwell, and the plant almost certainly coming in.
The stinger. It's not the dream, is it? It's not what you hoped for. And around the world they go, yeah, through the TP just to stay safe, and they've actually managed to lock Aaron in towards the lamps. U-Haul. And Aaron knows that, yeah, this is going to be brutal to try and play back in. Any better gun, and maybe there was a good shot at it. Nice damage on Mixwell. Switch up towards the Vandal, but Pitt says a big fat no. And I love seeing Pitt in good form here. He seems to be finding that role really quite well for himself. I'm loving this. Safe pair of hands, and the same you said for PattyTech. These two finding some really nice presence. Haven't needed to see, you know, David P popping off or AORUS. It's been the kind of, you know, the men behind the scenes sometimes. PattyTech is definitely a highlight player in his moments, but Pitt, you know, it's easy to forget about those kind of roles that he provides, but he's been showing how much of a rock, how much of a safety net he can be for this team in clutch moments. So nice to be seen. And on the other side for Bonk, you now got double digits against you, Lee. This is the hard one now. This is that mental game that becomes very tricky to overcome.
Quick fault line to try and distract, but simple use of utility doesn't upset anything there, as Mixwell will follow that Aldrune all the way through. The shot not landing, and this being the big rifle round for Bonk, they did not need that. They're going aggressive. They're just pushing on through. G2 quickening up the pace. They've already got site control. They haven't cleared elbow out yet, but they've got 5 men in control of the site, and with that wall going down, the plant will come.
Yeah, this is a pretty quick hit. G2 just want to play for the spike plant and then put the pressure on Bonk on the retake. Already Bonk to find PattyTech though through the smoke. Bonk trying to do the best he can to do some damage towards the window room. Hookah, but there's still plenty of players in the way. Ziz a little bit confused as to where they are, it seems. This is a little bit of a mayhem-based round.
Can't manage to land the shot, and suddenly it's a triple for G2. And that will shut the round dead in its tracks. Bonk finds AORUS, and now suddenly Aaron gets another as well, but they know where they're coming from. Mixwell lines up the shot, but Bonk lands it. And now it's a 1v1 on site. Pitt holding on for the time. He will manage to work it out, and Pitt will get the defuser. Won't get the defuser, rather. Will stop the defuser, sorry. And he's not going to be able to get away with that weapon. drop it?
Probably doing more on the attacking side.
Yep. Okay.
Probably. Again, they're doing fine. Mixwell showing pretty good form on the rifle, so they'll be all right. Yeah, again, to me, Pit, Clutch Master. Love it. Love to see it. Staying cool and calm under pressure. And again, more mounting towards Bonk to try and do something here. And that pacey hit from G2, you know, you can sit there and theorize, okay, we can do this, we can do that, but they throw a full-on sight hit at you. What are you going to do with that? It's really, really hard to theorize about it. Now G2 looking towards a 3 players here for Bonk, though, to try and hold this one back, but I don't know what their money's like. It can't be great at this point.
The flash peek netting nothing for Bonk. You can see they're doing that on B site. It hasn't worked out for them because David P's sitting deep. Meanwhile, the Hunter's Fury comes flicking through. Bonk finds Pit. So that cuts the bathroom down. But now Shadow Step goes into the back from the shadows for Pat, and he's done it so many times, gets in those awkward positions and is cut off heaven completely, which means they really only need to worry about lamps, and that's where they're going. Mixwell gets the one. Pat comes around the side. Mixwell doesn't matter. He's done it all for him in the lamps, and that will be the site taken with a spike down and a really awkward 3-man retake here. They haven't got control of heaven, and more importantly, they do have control from showers, though. So Bonkar with a triple. Stepping up here, but Mixwell looking for the ace now. Are they going to give it to him? They know where Bonkar is. He's coming. He's hunting. Artist will take it and just say, let's finish the game. They didn't even get the spike plant down in there. Now they will at the end to get the extra bonus money. It's match point 12-5. It was looking close on the attacking side for Bonk, but they've yet to score a defensive round, and it's just a little too late now.
And if I'm G2, I'm just going to make it hurt on this round. Do something dirty to them. Just add insult to injury. These guys are looking like they are poised to once again maintain that record in best of threes. They just don't lose. There is no one that is challenging them as far as we've seen in other regions. These guys are maintaining that supreme look to themselves. But for now, a good approach, a 3-1-1 split, trying to find if there's any of that last-minute aggression from the defensive side. And, well, there is a little bit here, trying to push down B short.
Wants to go with that showstopper, but unfortunately for him, there was no one to be found, and Pat in the end will get the lurk as well. Aaron gets Mixwell down, the Rolling Thunder comes through, but they're trying to force the aggression, but Safe will find one. Flashpoint through, Aftershock does find himself one. It actually cost him probably more than anything. You couldn't see where David P was, sitting in the graphical area, but nothing netted, unfortunately, for Bonkar. With the Hunter's Fury and David P. Just a rub insult will resurrect Artist. And now they are pushing in on site. Bonkar, the last man, the captain of his team, doing what he can. But it will be G2 that will come out on top. And it's David P that shuts down the round. 13-5. G2 are your winner of the Ignition Series for the mandatory GG Cup.
And no, we're not drastically surprised or mind-blown, but they got pushed and they responded. We saw a better performance out of G2 than I thought most people were expecting in that way. They had to dig a little deeper. We saw it through Ascent. We saw a little bit more from them. Haven was definitely a good approach. So credit to Bonk for that. Bonk pushed them harder than I think most people expected. We're seeing more and more teams now progressing in Europe and looking far stronger. But the cream of the crop, the number one team is G2, and they are still not in their final form, in my opinion. I think we're seeing them still kind of, depending on what worked for them before, we've seen them showing a little bit more depth, but they are still just such a good collective of players.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, they didn't drop a map through any of the best of series. They've not dropped a map in the entire tournament, have they? Yeah, they weren't. It was a 2-0 Dream Chasers, 2-0 BBL, and 3-0 over Bonk. They didn't drop a map throughout the entire tournament. And that's a credit to them. You know, obviously, while we joke about, you know, the fact that they can beat the European opposition and the North American opposition, Acanta Carlos. The fact is, they were unstoppable in this tournament. Yes, you know, rosters are changing. Maybe times will change, but for now, G2 reigns supreme.
Yeah, you can't take it away from them. Their map pool is impeccable. In a best of three, I don't feel anyone's got an advantage on them. You've got to be able to face them on that Ascent. You've got to be able to face them on Haven. You've got to be able to take them on maps that they look so strong on. And no one's that close yet. And then even if you do get close to the map, what happens if you have one round where Mixwell pops off? Oh, wait, hold on. It's Pattytech just getting the perfect TP to make you so paranoid, you suddenly freeze in your tracks. Every single player on that squad has so much so much potential to upset around, and I haven't seen a team really put them through their paces yet. A couple of glimmers and hope here, of hope here and there. I'd say that, as said, Bonk looked good in moments, but it's that longevity, it's that consistency, and G2 don't drop that yet. They are looking more dominant than I've seen in any, I don't say any other region. When I look to other regions, you've had teams go on runs, but not to this extent. TSM looked good, but they've been outdone. The meta swung and they had close opponents. No one is close enough right now to G2 to even consider that, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think they've dropped a map since July, which would be the 17th of July. I think that was the last map they dropped. And I think they're like 33-5 or something like that, which is pretty incredible. Bearing in mind, Bind being their weakest map that we just played there, and they obviously go 13-5 in a grand final. So not so weak, unfortunately. Don't really know how anyone can stop them. Like, how can they come back on this one? And how do people now look to it? Obviously, we're looking at teams that are possibly adjusting. How do they look to this and challenge them? Because it's clear that there are weaknesses in G2 games. They were pointed out. They were pushed on Haven. They were challenged, and it does seem that sometimes the set plays are actually starting to get to them.
I think there's ways and means, but you've gotta. It's such fine margins to do it. You have to be in the right circumstances to do it. And the teams that I thought had the capability have kind of broken up. So I looked at HYPERX as one of the teams. They had that great structure to them, that very CIS style, that methodical approach at times, with that brilliant dash of kind of individuality from Angel coming in every now and then, and Xiao. I don't see that currently in a roster. I definitely saw Yassine popping off today, which is a really good indicator. And I want more structure with Bonk. I want that kind of, in my mind, I look at what works against teams that depend on a little bit more individual brilliance. So that's what G2 is right now. A lot of individual brilliance with a bit of good structure to it. They've got the really good fundamentals.
Look at the spread here, though. This is what gets me. Like, good. Everyone is good. Everybody steps up. Oh, one's having a slightly weak. I mean, can you say AORUS had a slightly weak game when he popped off so heavily on Ascent? Not really.
He wasn't needed.
Just like,
he wasn't needed to do the AORUS things, right? AORUS plays great on those retakes. You see the ults being popped. When you want that player to dig you out of a tricky spot, that's AORUS, right? He's your man to go off like that. He wasn't needed. Players on the side were fine. They're good. But yeah, I think stylistically, you need your EU Sentinels to find their place, right? To be able to tame this team. But do I think that G2 have shown their full potential yet in that regard? No. I think if they want to get an IGL, get a little bit more structured, they can do that. They've got every ability to do it. They're a very hard team to theorize against.
I don't know what sort of coaching goes on in the background for them either, where they obviously, we know that Salah's obviously doing a lot of coaching for Bonk there, and a lot of the teams out there. Obviously, Fabricant had a strong coach as well that hopefully will get picked up by some of them. They are kind of the unsung heroes that don't get any credit at the start, so I'd love to give them a little bit of credit. But yeah, just seeing from the breakdown the stats, and as you pointed out, like G2, there is no weak points. That's the point. They're all to coin a term, fraggers, I guess you could say. They all have their moments. Like, obviously, everybody loves to have a showman, whether it be Mixwell on Jet doing these crazy plays, or artists getting these big 4Ks, or Pat going, stepping into the back of them and suddenly surprise them, or just Pip simply with pistols all day long. It's great to see some of these players. And I didn't even mention David P in there, because he's just fantastic. It's just, there is no weakness. You can't look at this team and say there's weakness. So what we're going to have to see for someone to challenge them is one of these super teams to be formed. And maybe, obviously orgs are looking for what's out there in terms of players, but simply look at what players are out there right now, what the top fraggers are. Perhaps this Fun plus Phoenix lineup that's currently being talked about possibly happening.
It'd be nice. The comms on that
could
team
be one of
are going to be wild.
That's just it.
What is
right?
that mix of players? It's going to be crazy.
Swedish with, what was it, the Ukrainian or Belarusian?
CIS.
I'm not sure.
I'm not too sure if I'm honest, which is my bad. I should know that by now. But yeah, Xiao and Angel, they're the rumored two, right?
Rumored. It's all heavy rumors, guys, by the way.
Of course. That could have some real potential. I don't know how the comms are going to work in that team. I have no idea. It doesn't seem to be a problem for other teams, though. Like, G2 is like a real mix of like regions as well, but definitely some potential on that roster for sure. You got to see how they gel as players, though, right? Like, how do they actually come together and play as a team? we're having to theorize who could potentially beat this team. Like, that's how good G2 are. That's crazy to me that we can't have an instant go-to of like, yep, here's your team. Like, obviously NIP are close, but they're not that close. I think, you know, Fish 1, 2, 3 fell foul in best of ones, if I'm honest, and you know, the look wasn't good enough. They're a work in progress. There's a lot of teams out there, but none of them are quite close enough yet.
And I was just trying to think of like any weak points to G2. I'm really hard pressed. I mean, I guess that's why they're so strong, right? I guess that's why other teams have also struggled to try and find it.
Yeah.
If we can spot it, and everyone can, the coaches and the players definitely can. But I'm just trying to figure out if there's anything in there. But instead of looking at the weak points for them, I want to look at the strong points for Bonk going forward, because you know they're a team that has been you know, up against it. I think it's safe to say Bonk are clearly playing with his heart on his sleeve in that final map there, knowing that they were bowing out 3-0. And everybody's going to look at the score, and, you know, a lot of people that maybe don't know the scene or don't follow the scene so strongly, they're going to be looking like, oh, G2 beat Bonk. Who the hell are they? You know, these guys just pushed. Yeah. You know, a Mixwell, a Pit, these guys that were superstars in Counter-Strike, you know, they just got pushed heavily by this Swedish lineup, a team that's been grinding it, a team that's been working hard. And yes, they might not be household names that you recognize, but if you were just to put a different title on there, instead of Bonk, you're looking at Fnatic or Liquid, and suddenly everyone's like, oh, it's G2 versus Fnatic, G2 versus Liquid. You know, but because you don't recognize these names, because there's no big recognizable org behind it, do not discount how good these players are.
No, for sure. And honestly, look at that bind attack. When it looked good, when they went on that run, that was the team that could potentially push a G2 further. That's what I'm going to take away. The ability to catch the aggression on the extremities, punishing Mixwell for pushing out a little bit here and there, having your scene popping off, you know, being able to capitalize on what makes G2 very strong, for example. If Bonk can capitalize more on that, if they can kind of make that their really strong suit, and then obviously work on the defensive side, they could be a great team. And they already are a great team. I mean, we're talking about the best of the best here, right? Like, they've shown some really good looks, and I hope people look at that attack inside specifically on Bind, what we saw on Haven, and draw some really good takeaways, and that they build on that, right? They take this away themselves and go, right, we had some really good looks. We had some things that worked. Let's build on that. Let's use that as our building blocks and our foundation to get our own sort of personality, because we know the personality with G2. Let's find out what Bonk's personality is as a team.
And that's what I'm hoping the orgs will look towards. And while they are desperately trying to find some sort of top former CS streamer or whatever the heck they're after, in terms of what personalities they want, I just wish somebody would start taking risks. You know, yes, I know esports is a different business these days than it used to be, when, you know, teams would form and suddenly they'd collect for a couple of mouse mats. It doesn't quite work that way. Everybody's obviously looking at salaries, so it is a financial commitment for these orgs. But I just wish, like NIP, they'd just take risks. You know, NIP had, sure, it was the Paladins team, but they've managed to adjust it in quick time, and now they've got themselves a team in the top 4 of the tournament. So while yes, they've not gone ahead and won it, they've certainly there or thereabouts to challenge it. And in terms of that way, you know, sponsors are happy when you see your team in the top 4.
And you should be, right? Like, that's the thing. I mean, these orgs needs to pick up some of these teams, give them some damn stability to grow into the further rosters, because all these roster changes and switching up players, like, settle on something and give them some time to commit to it, right? Like, I feel like it's so, you know, whimsical, some of these roster changes, like, oh, well, we tried to grow with this team, no one wanted to pick us up, right, we're going to have to switch this up. Yeah. And it's a shame, because honestly, I'd love to see some of these collectives finding a home and finding some more time to be able to perfect a way to approach this game. And once that happens, we'll have a really, really competitive EU side of things. But obviously, tournaments like this do help out. But hopefully, just so you guys know, once we get the mics working, or some of the players, we get the post interviews working. Don't worry, we're
trying to get an interview set up for you, but he's having an issue at the moment in the background. So you'd think players that stream all the time would be able to get themselves a mic that works.
Look, he's working on it. All right.
All right. You know what? He's worked on it. He's figured it out. He's got the mic switched on. It's David P, ladies and gentlemen, standing by with Ailey.
Thank you guys so much. All right, so we're joined by David P at the moment. That should show up any moment now on the screen. We're gonna have a few questions for him. So, oh hey, how you doing?
Hey, I'm fine, and you?
I'm good, thanks. Congratulations on your win.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Because it's like, I must say, it's your first official win as being, you know, an official part of the G2 roster, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Does it feel
But
better? Or?
Yeah, it feels better to be in the team and to be included as a player and not a stand-in anymore.
All right, we'll come back a bit later on that, but I just have a few questions regarding, you know, the whole Ignition series and the tournaments that you're having this past few weeks. How do you feel, you know, regarding your level and your position in the whole, you know, European esports tournaments as you're undefeated at the moment?
Yeah, we feel great. We feel we are above everyone. I think at the moment no one can beat us, and there will be definitely there will be needed some new team needed if they want to beat us. Because I don't think at the moment anybody can beat us.
Okay, that's pretty much what Ocelot said yesterday, so I'm pretty sure you've got the same line going down there. All right, so you haven't given out a single map in this tournament, especially. You had just a few bits and pieces, you know, here and there where it was kind of close. How do you explain, you know, people, you know, other teams getting closer and closer to taking matches away from you?
I think because right now we play the same comp and everyone knows the way we play. They are watching us. They want to beat us. They have how to say in English? They have something that because we are the number one team and they want to beat us, so they have more
your
power.
target.
Yeah, that's what I want to say, and that's why people win more rounds. And what is good in this team is when someone is underperforming, I will say, someone is always stepping up and is carrying the team. Like one time it can be Mix, one time it can be me, one time it can be Ardis, one time it can be Piatti and Jacob. Like everyone can step it up and carry them up.
Okay, so you're kind of taking turns in being the leads in like different moments in the games.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you feel that's the dynamic that works for you?
Yeah, I think it is.
Okay.
Like when someone is feeling bad or having a bad game, like we try to help him. Like we never let him down, and we are a team, and I like it.
Okay, so since you're the undefeated leaders, do you still feel that you can get better at the game because you can't seem to find anyone you can have a matchup against?
I think, of course, we need to work on a lot of things. Like we are just only at the beginning. I just joined the team 1 week ago. We didn't work so much, and I think with more work, like good luck to the other teams.
All right, so going back a bit more on your part of the team, because it's been announced like 2 days ago, I think, that you were actually a part of the team. Was it harder for you to kind of feel like you were not being in the team these past few weeks, and coming into this tournament being an official part of the team and announced, and actual not being someone that could be replaced at any moment, kind of?
Yeah, no, to be honest, I felt the same way. I played my game. I was confident. Like I was feeling home since they tried me out. I don't know, I feel comfortable with them since I'm trying with them, and when I was standing, so nothing changed, nothing special.
Do you have anything that we could wish for you for the upcoming weeks, or any fears maybe, like any teams that frightened you a bit this weekend?
I think Bonk played really well, to be honest. They were the best team in this tournament, I think. I think they can be a really good team if they keep working like this. I feel like they were the tough opponent that we played. Like I didn't feel some challenges, when we played the other team, but against them, it was something like they were good. I mean, but they need to still work to make the chance to win something.
Okay. All right. So you feel pretty good at the moment then?
Yes.
All right. Well, perfect. Thank you so much for your time, David. And we'll see you in a bit. Again, congratulations on your 3rd official win in this tournament. And we'll see you in the next couple of weeks for what's next in the Ignition series.
I think it is in 2 weeks, the next Ignition series. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's in a couple of weeks. It's fine. Yeah. You'll figure out the details. You're playing, so I'm pretty sure you'll be aware. All right. Thank you so much. See you.
Thank you.
Bye.
See ya.
All right. We're going to have just a couple of minutes again, because, you've been staying with people during the whole weekend, meaning Pansy, Demon, and HYPERX that should be... Oh, well, here they are already. Hey, guys. Just jumping right at my face. You're right.
Yeah, not too bad.
Sorry, I didn't hear you the first time, so I've done it again. All right, so can you tell us a bit more about what happened this weekend? Like, what were your big surprises? Because we've seen lots of upsets and favorite teams that were kind of taken out on the first rounds. That was a bit surprising.
I'll jump on it first, and we can run down HYPERX and Lee. We'll do it in order.
Yeah.
I think seeing Fish123 falling a little early was very disappointing to me. I'd have loved to see them go a little bit deeper in the tournament. I feel like there's so much more to bring from some of these teams, but otherwise, I'm happy. I think we saw what we expected in the form of, NIP doing a deeper run, G2 of course winning, Bonk playing well. So overall, it was a good tournament. I think a couple of teams just slipped up in those best of ones. Maybe need to strengthen their map pool a little bit, but obviously, it's a good sign for Europe.
Yeah, I think for me as well, Fish123 is the obvious one that sticks out. Can't really call G2 keeping the undefeated record going a surprise as such, but it's good to see a couple of different names stepping up. And unfortunately, this is the last event for Fabricant, rumors aside, and obviously we're missing Party Parrots, but I think overall this has been a good demonstration of some progression in EU, which is much needed. There are some other names that made it a bit later, notably for me, TBD and BBL. They were definitely successes to praise from the weekend.
Yeah.
But overall, I think again we've had a fantastic event, even if we've got a very similar storyline.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'm just going to pretty much echo what they just said. They kind of wrapped everything up there. I'm just interested going forward for future Ignition series, and certainly for Europe, what these new lineups are going to bring to the table. Obviously, a lot of talk, Fabricant's last stand effectively. We're starting to see, obviously, Party Parrots also split apart, some super lineups that possibly could form from these, and hopefully will gain themselves a sponsor or two, or even an organization. Hopefully will start to gamble on them. That's what I want to see really more from Europe. I want to start to see those orgs getting involved. Get your checkbooks out, boys.
Yeah. Do you feel like there's any downfall coming for G2 in the next few weeks, or do they still have a bit of time? Because it's kind of rushing at their back at the moment. It's getting harder and harder, isn't it?
I'm not sure about the next few weeks, but they're certainly being pushed. I think I just saw a stat that they are now obviously 3 Ignition series back-to-back, and they're 18-0 in those Ignition series. They have not dropped a game in any of them. So, I mean, while they've been pushed a little bit today by Bonk, I still think there's a long way to go for teams to sort of get themselves going. And it's going to require maybe one of those superstar teams to step up.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the pressure actually mounts. The more they keep winning, the more pressure there is to kind of maintain that consistency. Because this is the standard set now. They've set the bar for themselves, and David kind of hit the nail on the head for me, saying that there's still a lot of work to do. Yeah. They've not walked in and just said, yeah, we're cool. We don't need to improve. We don't need to adapt. And even on a game-by-game basis, we're seeing them switch things up, which is fantastic to see a team doing so well and then still actively working on getting better.
Yeah, I mean, until Fish123 make it to later stages, I don't think there's a team that does much. So, bring on Fish123, making it a little bit further. They've been working on, switching things up. They've got, the power to potentially do well there, but we haven't seen it recently. So until we see that, I think it's G2 pretty much tearing it up.
Okay. Do you have, well, apart from Pansy and her obvious love for Fish123, is there any team, or maybe Pansy another one, I don't know, but is there any team that you would that you would feel would be, the team to follow if there's one?
I mean, you're talking to an all-British panel here. Yeah. We're probably all going to back the Fish123 boys. I mean, that goes without saying. Another one for me was Fabricant, but I mean, it is what it is. It happens. Obviously, there's some talent on there than they've. I don't know if it's just purely they've seen a better chance in another roster. We're gonna have to wait to see if this rumor pays off. I was desperately zooming in on that Twitter video. I know Lee would have been as well, just to see the name tags. But for me, yeah, it's still Fish123.
Okay, Demon, I reckon you kind of agree, don't you?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I'm intrigued to see where Zypan and co do end up, because clearly they are top players. I had noticed that a lot of them have suddenly got these Prodigy Academy on them, so maybe we'll get him back on and figure out where they're all going to go. So they're going to be drawing them all together. I feel like the whole pool of talent is basically focusing on Prodigy Academy, and he's just sat there like a maniacal man putting these teams together.
All right. Is there anything that you would like to say regarding the Ignition series and how, you know, the whole competition is evolving and growing at the moment?
I like working with other British casters. It's a good time, you know. just nice.
I thought. Wait. I thought the Americans were your favorites. I seem to recall seeing a tweet lately that I absolutely adore working with. Working with Golden Boy and with Bucket, and they are the best player plays out there.
Oh, I mean, they're pretty good. Like, let's be honest, they're pretty damn
they're
good.
okay.
They're okay. Okay, they get a D-man. Okay, now, honestly, it's good to see, you know, more casters coming in. And honestly, it's been a pleasure getting new perspectives. HYPERX, I've got to say it, you know, credit to you, bringing in some real nice analysis through to this. Some sick play-by-play from Lee. I mean, yeah, honestly, for me, it's just, you know, getting some good talent to come out and show us that there's, you know, a lot out there still to be seen. So I'm happy. It's been a really good tournament for it, and, you know, working alongside these two has been pretty much a you know, bang on pleasure. So yeah, happy. It was good fun.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'd have to echo the same things. It's fantastic to see the Ignition series really kind of pick up in EU as well. Obviously, I've been an avid follower of Lauren's efforts over in America. Me myself being I guess technically a reverse import now that I'm back.
They brought you back.
For those that don't know, he actually lives in Texas, but he's stuck in England right now.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, it's fantastic to see the Ignition series kick off in EU. Storyline aside, I want to see it continue, and I want to see the scene grow.
Yeah, I mean, the same for me, right? Yeah, obviously, this is my first Ignition series, so I've absolutely loved it. I've been doing a lot of the behind-the-scenes small community cups, so I'm delighted to finally get involved in one of these. Would love to continue further and see how certainly the European side is going to grow and see whether it can start stepping up to the heights of the North American scene in terms of orgs and get the financial backing that it deserves.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much, guys. It's been a pleasure working with you this weekend, and it was absolutely delightful to follow your cast as well. So it was a great pleasure for me and for all of us here at the Mandatory Cup. So thank you loads.
Oh,
and
thank you.
Have a lovely Sunday evening. We'll let you go home. Well, I mean, stay home. You know what I mean.
Early finish, guys.
Yeah.
Early finish.
You can go to bed and do what you want to do.
Thanks for the 3 over G2.
All right. Thank you so much, guys. And we'll see you later, I guess.
Bye-bye.
Bye. See ya. All right, that's it for us, you guys. I hope you had an amazing weekend. It was such a pleasure for us to host this series and those tournaments for you. So again, if you want to have a follow-through of what happened this weekend, if you maybe missed a few matches or anything, you have the website, mandatory.gg. You can see analysis and statistics and loads of helpful tips and tricks as well regarding Valorant in general, if you want to get better at the game. And everything you can have to learn about the game is right there on the website, so do not hesitate to check that out. And I guess we'll see you in a bit. It was an amazing pleasure. Thank you so much to our sponsors, AORUS and NVIDIA, for their help during this weekend. Thank you so much to cast and crew and everyone. It was delightful to have us on the chat as well, and thank you. Good night, and see you later.